Executable step number one, finding deals. Now, without this particular step, there's no point of moving on to any other step. And this is why I say spend 90% of your time finding the deals. I couldn't tell you, I think a lot of beginners that get into real estate think, oh my gosh, where are the buyers going to come from? Actually, real estate is where are you getting the sellers? The sellers is really the key to this business. So I want you to spend the majority of your time finding the deals. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. I want to break down two of my favorite. And I did over 46 deals my first year doing just these two things. And it's been proven. It's tested and tried. So let's cover just a few tips on those two ways. So we're going to be driving neighborhoods. This is one of my favorite because it's not just about looking for a deal. It's understanding the neighborhoods and price points and what things sell for and what things rent for. I think it's so important to understand your local markets. But the key to driving neighborhoods is to identify potential vacant properties and for sale by owners. Now, what I love about vacant properties is the house is sitting vacant. Someone's paying taxes, someone's paying insurance, somebody could vandalize the property, trespassing, and so forth. So why would it just be sitting there vacant? And that's your job, is to find out that situation. Just some of the key things to look for. Obvious things are going to be tall grass, right? So when we drive by, there's tall grass in the property. I'd write down that address and then go back to the tax assessor or REI Pro. You'll be able to research that particular owner. Overflowing mail is something to check for as well. So if the post office is constantly sending mail there and no one's picking it up, good sign that it could be vacant. But vehicle plates, I couldn't tell you, when you're driving, I know this may be difficult, but I always like to drive with someone else, okay? Otherwise, you're paying attention to the road. It could get a little bit difficult, but when you think of vehicle plates, I remember this story. I was driving with one of my students in Austin, Texas, and we drive by and I said, hey, that property could be vacant. My student's like, yeah, but Chris, there's a car in the driveway. And I said, did you see the license tag? It expired 3 years ago. He's like, oh my gosh, how do you see these things? And I think that's the key when you're looking for any kind of signs of a vacant property, is to train your eye on exactly what to look for. Obviously, the turn meters, your electric meter that's on the side of the house, if that's, something obvious that you could see. But definitely check for that as you're driving by. Any kind of meters that have been removed, there's no electric to that property, a good sign of being vacant. Some of the other things I really want to identify are what I call personal items. And those personal items could be like a hose. Those normal things that you would have at your property if you actually live there? What about a potted plant out in the front? Something to look for, but again, the yard could be perfectly mowed, but there are no personal items there. So maybe the owner is in between tenants or something like that, and they're not sure what to do. This could be a great opportunity for you. And just no furniture. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times what I do is I try to look through the front window, and a lot of times I could see the backyard, meaning there's no obstructions in the house, meaning furniture that get in the way. So that's another really good tip to look for when you're out driving neighborhoods. Now, the second part to this is direct mail. So again, a lot of investors do direct mail, and I want you to get really good at crafting the right message in your direct mail. So if you're an REI Pro subscriber, we've already got some great templates just for you. So when we look at the direct mail, we're going to do either one of two things. It's either postcards or letters. Now, here's what I love about postcards. Postcards, they hit you at the mailbox, right? And if it's something that I always say pops or wows you, you're probably going to take a few seconds to actually read it. That's what I love. But what I love about letters is that they're more personal, right? So you can make them personal. A lot of people are going to the handwritten types of letters. I think what's most important with any kind of marketing is what you say in the marketing. It's not necessarily the direct mail in itself, but it's the message that you put in there. Does it give that wow factor? And why should they call you? So I want you to pay attention to how you word things in there. So the downside with letters is, if you're just like everyone else, you kind of sort your mail over your trash. So You got to play with it. You got to test it. Test a postcard and then test a letter, and see what kind of results that you get from both of them. And last but not least, be sure to follow up. So I always like to follow up with my direct mail every 30 days. So if I send a letter, send a postcard, I'm going to send it again if I don't hear anything. I'm going to keep sending it until they say, stop sending me mail, right? So keep that in mind. Now, there's a lot of other ways to market for these properties, but direct mail is something simple. Especially you could get into REI Pro, you could put the campaign together, quickly send out the direct mail, and it really doesn't take all that much time. So if you're working full time, direct mail is going to be a real key to your success. So I hope these tips helped in executable step number 1, which is finding deals. And I look forward to seeing you in executable step number 2.